Hey everybody, welcome to episode 1 of the Skyvan Experience. What you see me sitting in right now is a 2021 Mercedes Sprinter that my wife and I are going to convert into a camper van. Not an off-the-grid camper van, but something where we're going to have shore power to hook up to for the most part. So the purpose of today is to kind of talk about why we wanted to do this, to give you a quick tour of the van, and to give you an indicator of the kind of things that we're going to be doing in the future to make it better, to make it what we need. It's really exciting. First thing I want to talk about though is why a Sprinter. I wish I could sit here and tell you that we spent all sorts of hours researching between the ProMaster and the Transit and the Sprinter and just a regular van that had already been converted into an RV, like a Class B. Honestly, I can't tell you any of that. For a decade now, my wife and I, when we've been on road trips, we would look at Sprinters and say, we really want one of those. So the opportunity came up in order to get this. We traded in my truck and got this. And I think ultimately for us, it was just like a thing about Sprinters, right? In the United States, you know, Mercedes has got this great reputation and its luxury and stuff and quality and reliability and things like that. So I think that's what really made us settle on the Sprinter. Again, no data necessarily to back it up. We didn't look into it. Why we wanted to start off with a cargo van, I think like so many people who do this, is that we wanted a clean blank slate. And let me tell you something, this thing is a clean blank slate. There's a lot of things that the Class B motorhomes based on this chassis had that we didn't want. We don't want a kitchen. We don't need a kitchen. We're going to be getting some 12 volt and that can convert to shore power, some coolers, but we don't need a fridge. We don't need a microwave inside. We don't need a range inside. We don't need any of that. And when you get in here and you actually look about how big it is, I mean, that's the real thing. We didn't need what somebody else thought we needed, so we wanted to start ourselves. Whenever we do go camping, we always cook outside. I don't care really how cold it is, and that's another issue too. What we're building it for, really, we're based in Georgia. We're building it for vacationing in Georgia and going to Florida and maybe somewhere else. So we're not going to really be in cold climates. We're really only going to be traveling during the summertime. So ultimately, we really wanted a blank slate in order to create what was going to work for us. And of course, this is going to differ for everybody. So to say we entered into this with a lot of ignorance is totally true. We didn't really know what we're getting into. And you'll probably see this as we do future videos that I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to figure it out. And thanks to YouTube and all the people who have come before and all the creators and the people who do this professionally who have been so good to put their knowledge out, we're going to be able to figure things out. And maybe I'll come up with a couple of things that can help figure stuff out for you. I've already ran into one issue, which we'll talk about, that I've got to dive into, that maybe I can help contribute if you run into a similar problem, because I haven't seen anything on YouTube about it. And I swear, in the 2 weeks that we've owned this, I think I've looked at every Sprinter video out there. Probably not, but it seems like it, because I've just been doing so much research on this thing. So what I want to do now, let's take a quick tour of this and show you what we're dealing with, because maybe you've never seen the inside of a Sprinter before, and it's been interesting. And I've got a question for all you Sprinter pros out there. There's some things, especially in the cargo area, that you might know about that you can comment in the chatty box below that I have found to be really weird. But maybe it's just Mercedes construction. So let's take a tour of this thing and figure it out. Well, there it is, folks. The legendary symbol of quality, reliability, and luxury. The Mercedes symbol on the Sprinter. Just to prove it's a Sprinter. Oh, never mind that. The lock actuator's broken. Anyway, we'll ignore that for now. This is the 2500 model, like most of them. And when you back out, it is big. It's tall, although not as tall inside as I would have thought, to be honest with you. Okay, so that's the backside. I would open the cargo doors for you, but I can't because, as I said, they're broken. One thing we like about this, it's got under 30,000 miles on it. The body is in fantastic shape. Again, we'll just kind of do the walk around here. Very few dings. The only ding that we've really found is this right here. You know, you got some other like little scratches and stuff, but other than that, the body is remarkably ding-free for whatever kind of life this thing has had. One thing I have discovered is that it was a hard 30,000 miles. Some of the things I look at, it's like, God, this looks like it has 100,000 on it. But then other things, like when we get inside, I'll show you. All the control surfaces are really good. I already painted the grill, and it turned out really bad. Yeah, that'll be another video for the future. It just did not turn out well. I settled for a paint I shouldn't have settled for. And then we got this side over here, and you've seen these a million times, so not a whole lot going on over here. So let's go ahead and go in the back again. Make our way to the cargo area, and some things I want to ask you guys out there. So here's the area. And here is one of my big questions, and I hope the light is good enough. What is going on here? What is up with all of these spot weld spots? And you can actually see the residue. I hope that's showing up. And it's also over here. And it looks like we got some molding. And I've got paper shoved in here in order to keep the sheet metal from rattling on these supports. Because I don't know if there's supposed to be foam or seam seal in there or whatever, but it's not. And I've had to shove this paper in to keep it quiet for now. One of the first things I'm going to do is sound deadening. But again, is this normal? Have you seen that on yours? It just does not. It just doesn't look right. So that's one of the really weird issues. Cargo door slides really well. We're happy about that. As I said before, the lock actuator is broken. We could get in from the outside. From the inside, but we couldn't get in from the outside. So when I installed the new one, I just ordered the new one. I had to plug the old one in because the sensor apparently for recognizing if the door is open is actually in that lock actuator. So for a day I had to drive to work with the dome light on because I thought the door was open. So I plugged it all back in, just hit the latch with a screwdriver, and yeah. And also, all that black stuff, is that normal too? And look how, luckily, this wasn't attached because I had to bend it to get it out of the way to get the handle out. So again, so many kind of weird things. And I guess this is what counts for factory sound deadening, but it's not very good. I have a decibel meter on my phone, and it averages about 73, 74 decibels. And when I would go over railroad tracks, it would peak at about 100 because of all the rattling and everything. So that is absolutely the first thing I'm gonna address. Apparently, this wiring tunnel is a big pain in the butt too. When you start to convert it to a van, you either have to move the stuff, which I don't want to do. I might just take the shroud off and then just try to deal with it. But I've seen where a lot of people complain about that because it's just so kind of right in the way when you're trying to either put in cabinets or whatever. So that's kind of a pain. But other than that, this is what you would expect. It's just a blank canvas. And it's kind of what we want. In order to have, basically, a lot of this space is going to be taken up with a bed. For us, sleeping comfortably when we're camping is the number one priority. So, and also having a toilet. We're going to have a toilet somewhere in here. A composting toilet. Because that's a priority too. When we would see sprinters go down the road, we're like, oh man, are they able to stop and go to the bathroom? Yep. That would be awesome. Here is the dash, the interior. My favorite part of this interior is Mercedes reminding me what I couldn't have and what I couldn't afford. Here's all the stuff you can't have. It's also over here. There's 2 blank switches over there. I've read some things where maybe I can get other switches to fill in there. We'll see. Other than that, not a whole lot going on up here. Very basic radio. I never did like the cup holder phone mounts until I saw that Mercedes gives you these little cup holders up here. So this one that I ordered from Jeff online just works perfect because when I'm naviging, my phone is going to be right in front of me, and it works really, really well. I'll put the link in the description below for if you want to check that out. It works really well. Cruise. Oh, another reminder of what you don't have. You don't have steering wheel controls. Okay. Cup holders, again, are kind of nice. We like to carry the tumblers, and they fit in the right two. I don't know what we're going to use those other two for. Not really a glove box, just kind of a insert there. And more kind of cup holders over there. And a nice big, and this must be used for something also, just kind of a storage area, maybe for your papers or what other kind of stuff. So that's kind of cool as well. One of the first things that we are going to change out is installing some kind of a backup camera that could also double as a rear view mirror, basically. Because, let me show you what you get here. So that's the view out back. Obviously, it's no view. The side mirrors are okay. The fisheye works pretty good. Where I have the seat position, that pillar kind of gets in the way. I have to move forward to really see what's going on. But the biggest joke, and I think you know what I'm getting ready to talk about if you know these things. When I put this in reverse, there's the camera. No lines, no nothing. I thought for sure there might be an option to keep it on so you could use it as a rear view, but no. It's horrible. When I leave to go to work in the morning and it's dark, it's you're taking your life in your own hands. So I've already ordered a system that's going to double as a rear view mirror and an always on kind of camera for a rear view mirror or backup camera. Yeah, that's just bad. That's bad. Anyway, again, AC works really, really good. We bought this when it was about 100 degrees out, and the hour-and-a-half drive home was very comfortable, other than the noise. I've also seen with the headliner, again, I'll link it below, the video I saw, if somebody took out the headliner, insulated, put in sound deadening, that's going to definitely be on the list as well. Seats are pretty comfortable. My wife says they're some of the most comfortable they've been in. Of course, they have armrests. Leg room is really, really good. My wife is 6'2", I'm 6'3". We fit in here really well. So overall satisfied. So not only will we eventually be building this thing out as a van, and the kind of priorities that we have for it. And one of the big priorities is this is my daily driver. I drive this thing to work. So one of the priorities is going to be keeping the weight down when we finally start to convert it to a camper for our needs. But also just maintenance items as well. I've already had to put on new tires. Again, I told you it was kind of a rough 30,000 miles so far. The alignment was way off. The driver front inner was just bald. I think the alignment had been off for the past 20,000 miles probably. It was horrible. We're also going to be doing this thing on a budget. Again, we work straight jobs. We're going to be buying everything we need. People aren't sending us stuff. So we're going to be buying everything. So we've got to do this on a budget. And the first month, the budget's already blown. And alignment, tires, and some other items that I've picked up that I'll shoot videos on in the future to show you. What you're going to see on the channel is, again, everyday kind of maintenance items as well, because this is the daily driver. This isn't a toy. And as we move forward, you'll see videos, again, like on rear brake pads, LED headlights, bulbs, auxiliary lights, backup lights. As I mentioned before, the backup camera / rear view camera, so I know what's going on behind me. Then we'll get to some other things, like the sound deadening. Eventually, walls, and making the bed, and how we put the toilet in. All of that stuff is to come in the future. So really, I kind of wanted to just document this. When people saw that we bought this, the first thing out of people's mind, you should really document that. I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's do that. And again, to kind of add to the knowledge base. And again, maybe get some good ideas on what you might want, and certainly it's going to fit our needs, and maybe they might fit your needs as well. So it's kind of exciting. Want to share what we discover, and we will be discovering this thing together, because again, I'm ignorant about sprinters. And again, so many people, so many good people out there are sharing their knowledge. And without that, I don't know how people did this before the internet. I don't know how they did it. I guess you would just have to dive in. And that's what a lot of people did. I'm kind of brave that way, but not 100%. So anyway, what this channel, that's what you can expect to see moving forward on the channel. What it's not is a van life. This isn't a van life channel. We're not going to take you on vacation with us. A lot of people do that. I think that's great, sharing those experiences and things like that. But really, it's about making it what you want for your own experiences, if that makes any kind of a sense. And because this isn't van life. Again, we're not going to be living in this thing. We're not going to be traveling across the country in this thing. My wife and I both got 10 years before retirement. So we're going to be taking our fun in bits and pieces as we move forward. And who knows how long this thing might take. It could take a year. It could take, actually, we're kind of planning on taking 2 years, start to finish. I think we'll be able to use it before 2 years is up, but really getting it where we want, again, on a budget and on time. Because I don't have time. I'm on the weekends. I have other responsibilities, so I won't be able to dedicate full time to working on this. So it could take up to 2 years to get it fully done, which is fine. We're not in a big hurry, but at least we got the starting point. And if you are interested in any of this, maybe hit like, hit subscribe, because we got other things moving forward. All right. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.